The red star burned quietly outside the windows of the Galactic Research Station, its light shining through the long metal holes like a warning from another world. The station itself was a place of cold science, run by hundreds of alien researchers from dozens of species, each one older, stronger, and more advanced than humanity. In the center of the main testing arena stood a glowing medical chamber. Around it, alien scientists gathered in thick crowds, their voices whispering fast and nervous. Long tentacles tapped on tablets, four-eyed creatures leaned forward, and tall armored beings crossed their arms with pride. All of them waited to see a result they already believed was true. Inside the chamber lay a single human. Captain Elias Ward, Earth's representative to the Galactic Union, lay strapped to a scanning table surrounded by machines that hummed with bright blue energy. He looked calm, but only on the surface. His chest rose and fell faster than usual. He could feel hundreds of alien eyes watching him like he was prey in a cage. The aliens whispered the same thing over and over. Humans are weak, too soft, too emotional, not built for the galactic world. A week earlier, the Galactic Council had officially ranked humans as the weak species. It was a title no other species wanted, a title no human would accept. Today's test was the Council's final proof. Today, they intended to demonstrate human fragility once and for all. Elias had protested. Earth's delegation had protested. But the Council insisted. The test would happen with or without human cooperation. Now, with no choice left, Elias lay still as mechanical arms adjusted above him. Small red dots scanned across his skin. The lights dimmed as the test prepared to begin. At the far end of the room, the lead alien scientist, Dr. Zarkol, moved closer. He belonged to a tall reptilian species known for logic and cold efficiency. His 4 long fingers flew across a holographic console. He spoke without looking at Elias. Human subject is stable. Begin recording. A dozen cameras blinked alive. Elias closed his eyes. The machine powered on. At first, everything seemed normal. The scanner traced Elias's bones, muscles, and nerves. Alien scientists watched screens, nodding as numbers confirmed everything they believed. Lower bone density, weaker muscle fibers, unprotected vital organs, unusual emotional centers in the brain. A perfect example of a fragile creature. But then the readings changed. The scanner hesitated. It flickered. A high-pitched warning tone echoed across the room. Dr. Zarkol frowned. That cannot be correct. Run again. The machine ran again. The warning tone grew louder. Energy along the machine's edges crackled like lightning. The lights flickered overhead. Some aliens stepped back, confused. Others leaned in closer, unsure if this was a malfunction or something worse. Elias felt something deep inside his body shifting, stretching, waking up. Heat spread under his skin like fire traveling through his veins. His heartbeat grew louder. Not just to him, to everyone. Thump, thump. The sound echoed through the chamber, like a drum of war. Alien soldiers along the wall raised their weapons. They were not meant to fire inside a laboratory, but their hands tightened anyway. Dr. Zarkol stared at his readings. No, this is impossible. Energy spiked again. The scanner projected Elias's cells onto the main screen, and the entire room froze. The human cells were glowing. Not in a normal way, not like a chemical reaction or energy leak. They were glowing with purpose, reacting to stress, changing shape, rewriting themselves as if preparing for something. Something alive. Something ancient. Something dangerous. Dr. Zarkol stumbled back. Stop the test, he shouted. His voice cracked with fear. Shut it down. Shut it down now. Assistants slammed their hands on emergency panels. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the walls. Elias tried to speak, but the heat inside him swelled until his whole body shook. The machines around him sparked and hissed, unable to keep him restrained. "Stop the test." Zarkal screamed again. "Humans are. They are evolving in real time." The soldiers stepped closer, unsure if they should fire or run. But it was already too late. The chamber erupted in bright, white light, so bright the aliens shielded their eyes. The shockwave hit the room, sending instruments flying. Monitors shattered. Consoles overloaded. Alien scientists ducked for cover as sparks rained from the ceiling. A deep, rumbling alarm filled the station, echoing down every corridor. The test chamber sealed itself automatically, locking down. When the light finally faded, the room was silent. Smoke curled through the air. Machines lay in ruins. And at the center of the destruction, Elias Ward slowly pushed himself upright, his restraints melted, his eyes glowing faintly with a light no human had ever shown before. Every alien in the room stared in horror. They realized the truth. They had not tested human weakness. They had awakened human evolution. They had underestimated the one species, designed to adapt to anything, even death. A cold fear spread through the crowd. The weak species was not weak at all. The screen fades to black. The alarms continued across the galactic research station long after the chamber explosion. Red lights flashed through every hallway. Scientists ran from room to room, trying to understand what had happened. The incident report spread too fast. Within minutes, the entire station knew. The human had survived something no other species could. But the council demanded immediate answers. And Dr. Zarkol was forced to gather his research reports before facing them. He stood alone in a quiet observation room, the bright screen showing Elias Ward's glowing cells over and over again. He replayed the footage, hoping he had imagined it. He hadn't. The human cells truly changed shape under stress. They reacted like living machines, rewriting themselves in real time. Zarkol's hand shook slightly, something almost unheard of for his calm species. "Humans are not weak," he whispered to himself. "We have misunderstood them." But that truth was something the Galactic Council did not want to hear. The Council's main chamber opened like a giant metallic flower. Delegates from powerful species sat in curved rows, towering over the small center where Zarkol now stood. Behind him, large screens displayed the test results. At the center of the council sat the chair. Ice Scholar Virul, a tall creature with a long skeletal neck and cold silver eyes. "Dr. Zarkol," Virul said, "we have reviewed your emergency alert. You claim the human subject exhibited impossible behavior. Explain." Zarkol breathed slowly. "The readings were not wrong," he said. "Human biology does not behave like ours. When placed under extreme stress, their cells, they change." The council chamber fell silent. A representative from the stone-skinned Rylok species leaned forward. "Change how?" Zarkol tapped the screen. A diagram of Elias's glowing cells appeared, shifting and twisting into stronger forms. "Humans adapt in seconds," Zarkol explained. "Their weakness is not weakness at all, it is a hidden state. Their biology waits quietly, then evolves when threatened." The delegates whispered among themselves. The insect-like Cathari ambassador clicked her mandibles. "That cannot be true. Humans live short, fragile lives. Their bodies break easily." Zarkol nodded. "Yes, on the surface. But what happens when they are pushed to the edge? Their bodies activate something inside the DNA. A survival system." The screen switched to footage of the chamber explosion. The moment Elias glowed. The moment the machines overloaded. The moment everything failed. Several delegates flinched. Chairman Virul stared at the image with growing concern. "We labeled humans the weak species based on thousands of tests," Zarkal answered softly. Then the tests were wrong. But the council did not like being wrong. Meanwhile, Elias Ward sat alone in a small containment room deep inside the station. His head throbbed, his muscles felt stretched and sore, and his heartbeat still echoed louder than normal. When he looked at the mirror in the room, he barely recognized himself. His eyes glowed faintly, only for a second, but enough to make him step back in fear. "What's happening to me?" he whispered. He remembered the shaking machine, the intense heat, the explosion. But the strangest part wasn't the blast. It was the feeling right before it. He had not felt fear. He had felt alive. A soft hiss replaced the silence. The door opened and Dr. Zarkal entered with 2 guards. Elias stepped back, unsure if they came to help him or lock him away forever. "You survived something impossible," Zarkal said, studying him closely. "I need to ask you questions." Elias crossed his arms. "I didn't agree to any of this." "No," Zarkal admitted. "But the council insisted. They believed humans were too weak to survive the galaxy. They wanted proof." He paused. "And you gave them the opposite." Elias sat down slowly. "I didn't do anything special. It just happened." Zarkal leaned forward. "That is what frightens them." Back in the council chamber, debate erupted. "We must contain all humans. We must ban them from military training. They could evolve into a threat." Some species shouted in fear. Others scoffed, refusing to believe one explosion meant anything. But one voice cut through the noise. Commander Thalaran, a tall warrior of the shield-bearing Gorak species, stood from his seat. "I saw the human when the chamber burst," he said. He stood in the center of destruction without fear. No other species could do that. His eyes narrowed. That was not weakness. Several delegates exchanged uneasy glances. Chairman Varul tapped his claws. "Are you suggesting humans are dangerous?" Thalaran replied. "I am suggesting we do not understand them at all." The chamber fell into heavy silence as he continued. "Every species here grows strong through stable evolution. But humans grow strong through suffering." No one wanted to admit it, but many had seen it. Humans survived high gravity, toxic weather, dangerous jungles, wars, cold, heat, starvation. They survived everything. And every time they survived, they grew stronger. The council finally realized something frightening. Perhaps humans were never meant to be the weak species. Perhaps they were something entirely different. Dr. Zarkal ended his report with a final warning. If humans adapt under stress, then forcing them into danger does not break them. It awakens them. The council chamber froze. A quiet fear spread like a shadow. And far away in his containment cell, Elias Ward felt something new in his blood, something warm, ancient, and rising. The galaxy had made one mistake. They had pushed a human too far. And humans only become stronger when pushed. The Galactic Research Station returned to a shaky calm after the explosion, but the fear had not gone away. Every hallway felt tense. Aliens spoke in whispers. Security bots rolled in pairs. Even the air felt thicker, as if the entire station was breathing slower. At the center of this growing fear sat Captain Elias Ward, alone in a small containment room. The walls were smooth metal, glowing faintly with blue light. A single table and 2 chairs stood in the middle. It looked more like an interview room than a prison, yet the locked door said otherwise. Elias sat with his elbows on the table and stared at his hands. They looked normal, human hands, ordinary fingers. But he felt something under the skin, something he couldn't explain. A warm current, a faint vibration. It scared him more than the explosion itself. He took a slow breath. "What did they do to me?" he whispered. The door hissed open. Dr. Zarkal entered again, holding a datapad. 2 guards followed, and took position against the walls. They held stun weapons, but their hands shook just enough for Elias to notice. The guards were afraid of him. Elias raised an eyebrow. "Are you here to run more tests?" Zarkol shook his head. "No, I am here to understand what you are." The phrasing stung him. "I'm human," Elias said sharply. "What else would I be?" "That is what I must question," Zarkol replied, sitting across from him. "Your body did something no species in this galaxy can do." Elias leaned back, crossing his arms. "You put me in a dangerous machine, and it blew up. That's all." Zarkol slid the datapad toward him. "Then explain this." The screen showed his cells from the moment before the explosion. They were glowing softly, like they were alive in a new way. They were changing shape, thickening and multiplying faster than normal human biology allowed. What is this?" Elias whispered. "Your body," Zarkol answered, "responded to the test by evolving." Elias stared at the footage, disbelief spreading through him. "I didn't choose to do that," he said. "I didn't even know it was happening." "That is exactly the mystery," Zarkol replied softly. "Humans do not choose to adapt. Your cells act on their own. They react to danger faster than conscious thought." One of the guards shifted uncomfortably. Zarkol continued, "Tell me about your species. How do humans survive on your world?" Elias shrugged. "We fight. We build. We fix things. We survive storms, diseases, disasters. And emotional stress?" Zarkol asked. "Does it make humans weaker or stronger?" Elias laughed, but there was no humor. "Depends on the person. Some people break. Others get back up. And when they get back up, they're not the same." Zarkol tapped the table slowly. "This is not normal. No other species evolved from emotional or physical trauma. They avoid it. They fear it." "Well," Elias said, "humans fear it too. But fear doesn't stop us." Zarkol studied him. "Why?" Elias looked at his reflection in the datapad screen. "Because our planet tried to kill us for thousands of years. Freezing winters, blazing heat, earthquakes, predators, diseases. Everything. And instead of dying out," Zarkol whispered, "you adapted." Elias nodded slowly. "Yeah, all of us carry those old survival tricks. Our bodies remember." Zarkol tapped a few keys and pulled up another recording, this time of Elias in the chamber, moments before the explosion. His heartbeat was fast but steady. His eyes were intense. His breathing was controlled. "You were not panicking," Zarkol said. "Most species would collapse under that stress." Elias shrugged. "I've been through worse." Zarkol froze. "Worse than a high-energy biological scan." Elias didn't flinch. "Battlefields," he said quietly. "Earth has wars. You know that. I served in one." Zarkol looked at him with new eyes. "Your world creates danger, and your species grows stronger from it." He stood up, circling Elias slowly like a scientist studying a rare creature. "There is something hidden inside you," Zarkol said. "Not just you, your entire species. Something ancient. Something built for survival." Elias looked up sharply. "Built? You think someone designed us?" Zarkol hesitated. "Perhaps not someone. Perhaps your world itself shaped you. Or perhaps your evolution was different from ours." The guards exchanged nervous glances. Zarkol leaned closer. "You said humans grow stronger after trauma. Does that mean you change?" Elias thought carefully. "I think we learn. We remember pain, and that memory becomes strength." "That is the mystery," Zarkol said softly. "Your biology and your mind are connected. Your emotions influence your evolution." He paused. "No other species can do that." Elias felt his heart thump harder. Not with fear, but with realization. "So we're not weak," he said. "No," Zarkol whispered. "Your weakness is simply your starting point. Your true strength appears only when you are pushed." Elias swallowed. And the council? What will they do now? Zarko's silence was answer enough. The council would not celebrate humanity's hidden power. They would fear it. Elias leaned back in his chair as the guards quietly tightened their grip on their weapons. The truth settled over him like a blanket of cold fog. The galaxy had just discovered that humans were not weak at all, but something far more unpredictable, something dangerous, something rising. And now, the entire station wondered what a human might become if pushed. Again, the Galactic Research Station no longer felt like a place of science. It felt like a battlefield waiting for a spark. Every alien who passed through the metal halls kept their head low, speaking in whispers, avoiding eye contact, as if the truth about humans had become a dangerous secret no one wanted to carry. But inside Laboratory Sector 3, the truth continued to grow. The room was sealed behind 3 layers of security. Only 6 scientists were allowed inside. And in the center of the lab, surrounded by bright lights and humming machines, stood the subject none of them understood yet. Captain Elias Ward. He sat quietly on a medical bed, eyes half open as thin scanners floated around him. He felt tired, but also strangely alert. He could feel everything, the lights, the vibrations of machines, even the steps of gods outside the door. It was like his senses had leveled up. Dr. Zarko checked the screen with growing confusion. His neural signals are increasing again. Another scientist, a small 4-eyed Vakari named Dole, gasped softly. But he is not under stress. Zarko folded his arms. Then why does his brain activity rise on its own? No one answered. Elias looked down at his hands. They trembled, not from fear, but from energy, like his body was preparing for something. Zarko walked closer. Tell me, Captain Ward, do you feel different? Elias hesitated. Everything feels sharper. Sounds, smells, my heartbeat, even your emotions. The scientists froze. You can sense our emotions? Dole whispered. Not exactly, Elias said, but I can tell when you're nervous. He glanced at each scientist. All of you are nervous right now. The room fell into uncomfortable silence. Hours earlier, the council had tried to shut down the study completely. They argued that the research was too dangerous, that humans should be quarantined, not analyzed, but Zarko and his small team had resisted. They believed understanding humans was more important than burying the truth. They believed something incredible had been discovered, something that could change everything about the galaxy. But to continue the study, they had to make a choice, hide it from the council. And so, the forbidden study began. Zarko activated a new scan. A hologram of Elias's body appeared, pulsing with different colors. Red marked stress, blue marked calm, yellow marked neural growth. A swirling pattern of gold marked something new, something no alien had ever seen before. That golden region. One scientist murmured, "What is it?" Zarko tapped the hologram. It appeared after the explosion. It seems to be a cluster of rapidly evolving cells that connect to the nervous system. Dole stepped forward. Are you saying humans grow new systems inside their own bodies? No, Zarko said. I am saying they awaken old ones. Elias looked up sharply. Old ones? Zarko nodded slowly. Your ancestors survived fire, cold, hunger, predators, war, disease. Their survival traits remained. In your DNA, but hidden. He pointed at the glowing pattern. This may be the reason humans grow stronger from suffering. The other scientists exchanged worried looks. Dole whispered, if humans grow stronger from trauma, then the more we test them, the stronger they become. Zarko finished. Elias felt his stomach tighten. So all those tests you forced on us, he said, all the pain your council caused over the years, it only made us more dangerous? Zarko did not answer, but his silence was enough. Outside the lab, rumors spread through the station that an alien engineer whispered to a friend. The human survived an explosion with his bare body. A security officer muttered, "I heard his cells rewrite themselves while he's awake." A frightened medic trembled. What if they evolve every time they're hurt? The rumors grew wild, fearful, and distorted. Some claimed humans could shapeshift. Some claimed they could read thoughts. Some claimed they would soon become unstoppable. By the time the whispers reached the station commander, panic had infected the entire crew. The commander ordered, all humans must remain under surveillance. No contact without clearance. But orders could not stop fear. Inside the forbidden study, the scientists placed small sensors along Elias's arms and shoulders. "We will test your reaction speed next," Zarkal explained. But when the test began, Elias barely moved and the sensors lit up instantly. "That was too fast," Dole said. He did not even react consciously. Zarkal checked the readings. His nervous system predicted the motion before it happened. Dole swallowed hard. That means his reflexes improved. Again, Elias looked down at his hands. "I'm not doing this on purpose." Zarkal nodded. "We believe you. That is why it is so important we continue the study," Dole whispered, "and why the council will try to stop us." Zarkal's voice lowered. "Which is why they must not learn how far the changes have gone." He turned back to the team. "From this moment forward, no data leaves this room. No reports. No messages. No updates to the council. We study the human in secret." The scientists nodded. They were afraid, but curiosity burned stronger than fear. Elias raised his head, eyes sharp. "You think I'm dangerous?" Zarko breathed slowly. "I think your species is not what we believed. And knowledge of your evolution could divide the galaxy." He leaned closer. "Some will fear you. Others will want to control you." Elias clenched his fists. "And you? What do you want?" Zarko's expression softened with something rare for his species' respect. "I want to understand you," he said, "before someone else tries to use you." Elias felt a cold chill run down his spine, not because he feared Zarko, but because he realized the scientist was right. If the galaxy knew what humans could become, someone would eventually try to force that evolution again, and the results might be far worse than one exploded test chamber. For several minutes, the research station drifted in total silence, wrapped in the pale glow of the red star. The alarms had stopped. The emergency lights flickered quietly. All that remained was the faint hum of the engines and the echo of fear in every corridor. Captain Elias Ward sat on the edge of the medical bed, breathing slowly. The light from his body had faded, but a faint silver shimmer still pulsed under his skin. Like something alive was resting inside him. The alien scientists stood as far back as possible. None dared move closer. Dr. Zarko was the only one brave enough to take a step forward. "Human, do you feel stable now?" he asked carefully, holding a scanner that shook in his clawed hands. Elias looked up at him. His eyes had changed again, still blue, but glowing faintly, like a thin ring of energy circled each pupil. "I'm fine," Elias said, though even he wasn't sure. "I'm not in pain, just different." The scientists exchanged nervous whispers. "Different?" One alien muttered. "Different how?" said another. "Is he dangerous?" a third asked, staring at the trembling readings on her tablet. Elias didn't answer at first. He lifted one hand and stared at his fingers. They looked normal, but when he clenched his fist, a soft pulse of white energy rippled across his knuckles. "That made the entire room jump." Dr. Zarko raised both hands. Please stay calm. Nobody fire your weapons." The alien soldiers lowered their rifles reluctantly. Elias continued to watch his hand, trying to understand. Whatever happened, it woke something. Something old. Something deep in human DNA. Dr. Zarkal's face darkened. That is what frightens us. He motioned to the big central screen. With a loud click, it turned on and displayed a hologram of Elias's new cells. The image showed human DNA, but wrapped in a strange glowing pattern. It appeared when you were under extreme stress, the scientist said. Your cells reacted with something we have never observed. Not in any species. Elias frowned. Explain it to me. Dr. Zarkal took a breath. It is not a mutation, and not a disease. It appears to be a hidden function, something your species carried for ages without knowing. Another scientist added, a hidden biological weapon? No, said Dr. Zarkal quietly. Not a weapon. A survival switch. The room fell silent. Elias's eyes widened. A survival switch? Dr. Zarkal nodded slowly. Yes, your biology. It adapts when pushed past the breaking point. Your cells rewrite themselves. Your DNA reorganizes. Humans evolve instantly when they are threatened. Elias stared at the hologram in disbelief. Instant evolution. Across the galaxy, evolution took thousands, sometimes millions of years. Species change slowly, carefully, over time. No one, not a single race, had the power to evolve in the span of a single heartbeat, but humans could, because they were built that way. Jarkal swallowed nervously. We do not understand how. We do not know why. But we now know this. Your kind is not weak. Your kind is the most dangerous species we have ever met. The alien soldiers tightened their grips on their weapons again. Elias raised his hands. I'm not here to hurt anyone. We know that, Dr. Zarkal said quickly. But the Council will not care. They will see you as a threat. Elias felt a chill crawl down his spine. So what do they do now? He asked. The scientist paused before answering. They will quarantine Earth. They will remove humans from the Galactic Union. And they may order... His voice dropped. They may order your extermination. Elias stood up. You can't be serious. The alien scientist met his glowing eyes. They fear what they cannot control. Before Elias could respond, a sharp alarm rang through the station, making everyone jump. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Galactic Council security approaching. Dr. Zarkal froze. No, they arrived too quickly. They must have monitored the test from orbit. Elias felt the energy inside him stir again. This time not from pain, but from instinct. A survival instinct. His heartbeat grew louder. The silver glow beneath his skin brightened. Stop, he whispered to himself. Calm down. But his body wasn't listening. The doors to the lab slid open with a violent crack. A squad of elite Council enforcers marched in, towering alien soldiers in black armor that absorbed the light. Their weapons glowed blue at the tips. Humming with lethal power, their commander stepped forward and pointed at Elias. Captain Elias Ward, he announced in a cold, metallic voice. You are hereby classified as a biological threat to the Galactic Union. The soldiers aimed their weapons. You will be taken into containment. Resistance will result in immediate termination. The alien scientist tried to protest. He is harmless. He is still stabilizing. His condition is not his fault, but the commander silenced them with a gesture. Elias raised his hands again, but the glow under his skin brightened anyway. His breathing became heavier. His muscles tightened. The survival engine inside him roared awake. Don't do this, Elias warned softly. Please, I don't want to hurt anyone. The commander stepped closer. That is exactly what makes you dangerous. The room filled with the sharp sound of weapons charging. Elias took one step back. The soldiers took one step forward. The Energy inside him surged like a wave dot, and in that final second, that quiet breath before chaos, every alien in the room realized the truth. If they fired, the thing inside Elias Ward would wake up completely. And once awakened, it might never stop. For a long, tense moment, nobody in the lab moved. Elias Ward stood with his hands raised, breathing hard, the silver glow under his skin brightening with every heartbeat. The alien soldiers, tall, armored, unshakable, kept their weapons aimed at his chest. Their commander's visor reflected Elias's faint light like a dark mirror. Dr. Zarkol stepped between them, arms spread wide. "Commander, stop. He is not hostile. You must not push him." The commander shoved Zarkol aside. The scientist fell to the floor, sliding across the polished metal. Elias flinched. Something inside him twitched in response, an instinctive spark of anger. "Don't hurt him," Elias warned. The commander ignored him. Threat level rising. "Prepare containment fire." The enforcers tightened formation. Elias could feel the shift in the air, thick, heavy, electric. His senses sharpened. Every breath felt like fire. Every step of the soldiers echoed like thunder. The thing inside him, whatever it was, did not want to be cornered. And humans were never meant to be hunted. Dr. Shar. Cole lifted himself up with difficulty. "Commander, listen. If you attack him, you will trigger a full biological shift. He could destabilize the reactor. He could destabilize the whole station." The commander didn't look away from Elias. "If he destabilizes the station, that only proves he must be eliminated." Elias felt the pressure grow inside his chest, like a locked door cracking under weight. "They don't understand me. They don't understand humans. They don't understand what happens when we are pushed too far." He stepped back until his shoulders touched the cold wall. The soldiers readied their weapons. That was the moment the station shuddered. A deep metallic boom rolled through the ceiling. Lights flickered. The floor trembled. The whole structure seemed to groan. Everyone turned upward in confusion. Dr. Zarkol's eyes widened in terror. No. The star flare. It hit us sooner than predicted. Another explosion rocked the station. Sirens blared. Warning. Shield failure in Sector 4. Warning. Hull temperature rising. The commander snapped orders. "Maintain containment." "He stays here." But the lab doors suddenly burst open again, this time from a wave of heat blasting through the hallway. Steam poured in. Red lights strobed across the walls. An emergency robot rolled past, on fire. The station had taken massive damage. Elias felt the heat immediately. The radiation from the red star seeped through the failing shields. It wasn't enough to kill anyone yet, but it weakened the aliens instantly. The enforcers staggered. One dropped to a knee. Clutching his chest, another stumbled back, gasping for air. Their armor was designed for cold environments, not for being roasted alive. Dr. Zarko turned to Elias with desperate eyes. "The radiation levels. Humans can resist more heat than most species. But we cannot. If the shields collapse, we will die within minutes." Elias looked around. The soldiers who wanted to kill him moments ago were struggling to breathe. The scientists who feared him were collapsing. Station alarms were screaming, and the survival engine inside him changed. The pressure inside his body shifted not into rage, but into something else. Call on purpose. For the first time, the strange power inside him felt calm, focused, ready to act. Elias took a step toward the doorway. The commander raised his weapon weakly. "Stay where you are, human." Elias ignored him and walked forward. "I'm going to the shield core," he said, voice steady. "I can handle the radiation." "None of you can." The commander tried to respond, but coughed instead. Dr. Zarko grabbed Elias's arm. "If you go into the core, the heat will reach levels no living thing can survive. Elias looked down at the faint glow pulsing beneath his skin. Maybe before. But now? He lifted his hand. A soft ripple of white light traveled across his fingers, like his cells were waking again. I think I can. The scientist hesitated. We cannot let you risk your life. Not after what we saw. Elias gave a small, tired smile. It's not a risk. It's what humans do. A loud cracking sound tore through the floor, another impact ripple from the star flare. The station lurched sideways. A pipe burst overhead, spraying steam. Time was running out. Dr. Zarkol swallowed. At least take a guidance drone. No, Elias said. No metal is going to survive that heat. But I will. He stepped into the hallway. The heat hit him immediately, a wave of burning air that would have melted through alien skin. Elias barely felt it. Instead, his body reacted on its own. The silver glow brightened and wrapped around him like a thin shield. Shimmering like living armor. The scientists watched in shock. The commander watched in fear. Impossible, he whispered. Elias turned back to them. Lock this area and fall back to a safe room. I'll stabilize the shield. You just stay alive. Dr. Zarkol nodded shakily. Be careful, human. Elias gave him one last determined look. Then he ran, down smoking corridors, past broken lights, through rising heat. Each step made the glow brighter, stronger, more controlled, because the human's greatest secret wasn't violence. It wasn't power. It was refusal to break, refusal to quit, refusal to fall when others already had. And as Elias sprinted toward the burning heart of the station, every alien realized the truth. Humans weren't weak. Humans were unstoppable. Elias reached the inner corridors of the station, where the air shimmered like liquid glass. The heat was so intense that emergency doors had melted. The walls glowed red. Small fires burned upward in thin spirals, sucked into broken ventilation shafts. Any alien would have died instantly, but Elias kept walking. The strange glow under his skin brightened with every step. His body seemed to know what to do, forming thin layers of energy around his muscles to protect them. Each breath came easy, as if the heat barely touched him at all. Still, the pain was there, deep, heavy, pushing against his bones. A burning pressure filled his chest. This must be the limit, he whispered. But he pushed on. Humans always push their limits. He reached a fork in the corridor. One path led deeper into the station. The other led directly toward the main shield generator. The metal sign above the door glowed red-hot. Elias stopped for a moment and squinted. Through the smoke, screams echoed somewhere behind him. Scientists trapped in other sections. The sound made his heart tighten. He didn't have time to help them all, but if he stabilized the shields, the entire station would survive. He chose the left corridor. The door panel next to it had melted, but Elias pressed his hand against it. The heat curled his skin for a moment. Then the silver glow rippled outward, healing the burn instantly. The door slid open with a weak groan. Inside was worse. The hallway looked like the inside of a furnace. The floor tiles had warped into wavy shapes. Flames crawled across the ceiling. Elias moved quickly, boots sinking slightly into the softened metal. With every step, the glowing energy in his body became stronger, no longer wild, no longer explosive. It felt focused now, controlled, like a part of him he never knew existed, was finally awake. After several minutes of pushing through the heat, Elias reached a massive blast door marked Shield Core, Authorized Personnel ONL wide. Door was half open but frozen that way by melted steel. It wouldn't budge. Elias placed both hands on the hot metal and pushed. Nothing moved. He closed his eyes and tightened his jaw. The silver glow across his arms intensified until the air hummed around him. His muscles grew harder, stronger, yet they didn't expand or bulge. It wasn't strength like lifting weights. It was something deeper, a kind of biological force. With a final push, the blast door tore free from the frame and crashed inward. Inside, the shield core chamber flickered with dangerous white-blue sparks. The cylindrical reactor at the center glowed bright red. Its stabilizers shook violently, one already broken off and lying on the floor like a melted bone. Heat blasted Elias in the face. It felt like being inside a star. He staggered for a brief second, his body shivering with instant pain. Then the glow inside him ignited again. Hotter this time. Stronger. Brighter. His skin shimmered like liquid silver. Elias took one long breath and stepped inside the chamber. The station watches back in the safe room. The alien scientists and even the enforcers crowded around the hologram screens. Dr. Zarkel held a trembling tablet showing Elias's vital signs. He's alive? One scientist whispered in disbelief. No species could enter that chamber. Humans can, Zarkel muttered. The commander said nothing. His visor reflected the rising temperature readings, numbers that should have killed Elias instantly. Yet his vitals were growing stronger. The commander finally spoke in a low voice. What kind of creature walks into a star? Dr. Zarkel didn't hesitate. A human. Inside the core, Elias reached the main console. It sparked violently and gave off a high-pitched scream. The screen had melted. The controls were gone. Manual control was impossible. The only way to stabilize the shield was by reconnecting the broken stabilizer. Rod glowing red-hot back into the reactor's heart. Elias looked at the metal rod lying on the floor. The heat waves rising from it were so intense the air wobbled. He knelt and grabbed it with both hands. Instant agony shot up his arms. His skin burned. His bones felt like they were melting. His whole body screamed for him to let go. Elias gritted his teeth and pulled. The silver glow beneath his skin exploded outward, wrapping his arms in a bright aura. The pain shifted, still there, still real, but distant, manageable. Humans weren't immune to pain. Humans endured pain. He lifted the rod. It weighed as much as a star. The energy inside him pulsed. Harder again and again, as if syncing with his heartbeat.